So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to 90 Day Fiancé MK. I'm Mr. O, and today, Miss H and I will be discussing Season 11, Episode 10 of 90 Day Fiancé. In this episode, Matt and Amani are worried about how much their special friend's daughter knows about them. Shekinah and Sarper make it up to Montana to meet her family. Juan struggles to adjust to the stay-at-home dad life. Joan tells Greg's mom to beat it every once in a while. Mina gets the lowdown from Mark's ex Jade. And Mahdi endures the cringe for Stevi. We'll be back again next week to talk about Episode 11. You can also listen to us on our other channel, Love After Lockup MK, where we're covering the new season of Love After Lockup. Alright, thanks for listening, stay safe, and enjoy.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you today?
I'm, allergy-y right now. I just think all the flowers bloomed all at the same time, and just like the allergies hit like 1,000, just all at once. And so I'm just like, I'm not upset, I'm not crying, my eyes water. So,
oh gosh. Okay, well, I mean, I have not had the best of day, and speaking of crying, because I had a student who told me I was no enthusiasm and that I was very monotone. I'm like, this is just how I talk.
Okay. Like, yes, I'm very much part of it. Like, I'm not a performer. I'm not up here to entertain you. Like, did you
that
learn
being
the
said,
stuff
we have
or
a
not?
podcast. I don't know. Sometimes I fall into monotone voice, I guess. I'll try.
Sometimes things are boring. But it wasn't boring as some of these people here. So let's start with Jessica and Juan.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So Juan starts off, he's pretty busy. There's a crying baby at home. There's a sick kid. The sick kid wants mac and cheese, and he starts to make the mac and cheese. And I have a kid that like lives on mac and cheese. So I've made plenty of boxes of mac and cheese, and I can tell you right where he went wrong in making this box of mac and cheese.
Yeah, I think Jessica figured it out pretty quickly too.
Yeah, it was. It was like as he was making it, I was like, oh no, he's doing it wrong. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no, he didn't drain those noodles before he put the cheese in. Oh no. Right. So it's bad. It's all watery and soupy. He's like, I thought it was a soup. We don't have this in Colombia. I don't know.
Yeah. So
the kid calls Jessica, be like, his mac and cheese was disgusting. Can you just bring me a pizza? And he's just like, whatever, I tried. So as time goes on, Jessica gets home and he's making fish, and the baby's crying, and the healthy son also comes home. But even this, not good enough. Apparently, he's the only one that eats fish in the entire house, so none of them want the fish. I was like, that's a good dinner. What are you doing there? Oh, anyway. So he's feeling a little weird about this whole Mr. Mom thing. He's used to being the person with the job who makes the money. And he's feeling pretty down about losing his status as like the breadwinner and as a working man. Or at least he feels like that's a loss of status. So he sits down and talks to Jessica about how hard that is. And she has sympathy, but not the right kind as far as I'm concerned. Because she's just like, oh, I know that is hard. I know because I've been doing it this whole time when you've been working on the boat. She's bothered that how dare he even feel this way. He just needs to suck it up and not complain and just be the dad. That's the way it is now. So when he says it's been a long and frustrating day, and it's hard not to miss the boat life. So, it kind of tells us he hopes things start to turn a corner soon. But later on, it's time for a night out. So Jessica grabs her breast pump and they head out. He's like, what's in the bag? You can only make it 3 hours without pumping. So you got to do it. So Juan hopes that all the interrogations and accusations are over because he's just tired of it. And so is Jessica, honestly. They're going bowling with Megan and Herbie and Chandler. And it'll be Megan's first meeting with Juan since her suspicions of cheating were confirmed. So Juan compares bowling to just like, he's like, on the boat, I would just finish my shift and just grab drinks with my friends. We were all right there. Now I got to go bowling and it's 45 minutes away. And like, ugh. But Jessica thinks he's not really complaining about bowling. He's just complaining that she's a better bowler than him. So the bowling starts and we get a whole montage of 7-10 splits and Megan falling down, just completely wiping out in the bowling alley, which he just thinks is karma.
Oh, yeah, it is for sure.
So at one point when it is Jessica's turn to bowl, Megan just asks him, so what have you been doing to show Jessica you can trust her again? She can trust you again. And he's like, I don't know, quitting my job, moving to Wyoming, raising the kids. I don't know what you want me to say. She just says she needs to be sure and blah, blah, blah. You know, she's important to me. And then Juan just does, I think, a good job and says, you know what? I'm tired of having this conversation. I'm not going to answer because this is between me and Jessica, not me and you. So Jessica backs him up and says, well, if every time we hang out, you try to have this conversation, we're not going to hang out with you anymore. But then Megan's adds if you do anything to hurt Jessica, I'll ruin your life. And again, he's like,
oh my God,
what is he? How can she ruin my life? What is she even talking about?
Right.
I don't know. So, I mean, I guess what does she think she's going to do by ruining his? Because if he does something to hurt her and they break up, he's just going to leave.
Yeah.
What life is she? She's going to ruin his boat life? How's that going to work?
I was going to say she's going to spread the word because there's been some shitty ass cast members on this show that still get a lot of attention because they were on this show. So you can go ahead and slander his name all through social media all you want. It's really not going to, quote, ruin his life. I don't think she has the power to do that, but I don't know. She's delusional anyway. I'm very happy that Juan stood up to her and that Jessica is actually backing up Juan because, to be honest, I just feel bad for Juan. There's nothing good that has come out of him living here. He's having to take care of these kids. And granted, he should because one of them is his. Sure. But, I mean, he has become insta-dad to these other, rambunctious kids that, they're not his kids, but I guess, he's going to be stepdad, so he is choosing them. But it just, I don't know. It just seems like so much change in every possible way for this poor guy. And I just really feel for him.
No, I absolutely do. And I just kind of feel that Jessica's not giving him a fair shake for how big of a transition it is. And she's like, well, I've been doing this the whole time. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't get all three at the same time.
Right.
That didn't happen to you. You didn't go from, I have no kids to the next day, I have 3 kids.
Yes.
Right. That is not something that happened to her.
Right. I feel like Juan could be more successful if he only had to take care of David. Sure. But you got this needy, sick child over here. And then when the other one's around too, the two of them are always screaming and jumping around everywhere. So it's a
they're
lot.
Rambunctious ones too.
Yes,
sure.
They are. They are incredibly high energy. And that's a lot to have to drop yourself into that situation.
Yeah. And it's and I want her to recognize that bringing him in is going to change her life too. And not just well, things get easier. Everything else is exactly the same, except I do fewer things.
Right.
It's no, he gets a say on how things might change. Sometimes you might have fish for dinner. And you know what? You eat the fish. Just eat the fish. It will not kill you. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. This poor guy, he doesn't have any of his comfort foods, his comfort space, any kind of privacy.
That's just, the 45-minute drive to the bowling alley is oh my God, that means it's just.
Plus, it's the bowling alley. You're okay.
Yeah, if you drive 45 minutes to get to a bowling alley, that's I'm tapped out at about what I do have a bowling alley that's a mile from my house, but other than that, I'm not going to drive more than 15 minutes. I'm not driving more than 15 minutes for bowling. That's not
where 45 minutes gets me? I'm 45 minutes away from Knott's Berry Farm and Disneyland, so that's what that gets me.
I am 45 minutes away from 2 different states. I could be in 2 different states in 40. I could be in Pennsylvania 45 minutes. I could be in Virginia 45 minutes.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So Juan, I just feel for this guy. He sacrificed a whole lot, but I think that's what this show was really, really kind of based on, right? The fact that you have someone who he's got all of the things, right, that 90 Day Fiancé was really built on, which is, you're completely in a totally different environment. The family or friends are against you. You're in a place that, is not that great. but
Right.
it's America, so I don't know.
Oh, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be
right.
better.
It's supposed
but,
to be a lot
yeah.
better than it is. So
I mean, but he lived on a cruise ship. Like that's a different animal. That was, and the adjustment of the adjusting to the cold, even like it was always a big one. It's cold here. Why is it cold? Cold sucks. All right. So speaking of someone else who kind of came in from the cold, let's move on to what threw me off because it starts with B-roll of surfers. So I was like, I don't think any of our people are in California but no, Long Island. There's Long Island surfers apparently. We're with Greg and Joan. So he's dressed for his interview, which doesn't mean a suit or a tie or anything. Just a button up, like a short sleeve button up. I don't even think he wore pants.
No, and I would not consider that a button up, right? That's like...
Oh, no, it's a short sleeve. It's like a dad shirt. Like, think of like a dad cooking, you running the barbecue and like, with a nice neighborhood party.
Like a summer linen shirt or something.
Yeah. It does button up, so I'll give him that. But it's not even like, so there's no sleeves. I mean, there are sleeves, short sleeves, not even pants. So whatever. He says this job is more aligned with his interest because it's more like, it sounds like handiwork, right? It's like, there's plumbing, there's drywalling, there's electrician. I'm like, what state job is this? I know. I was thinking the same thing. Like my grandfather worked for years for the government, but he was a plumber and he was, you know what he did? Plumbing. Did he also do drywall? No, he did plumbing.
Another guy for that.
Yeah, there was another guy for that. Yeah. So anyway, when he leaves, Joan and Lucille are home alone. So Lucille suggests that Joan help her with what she says is a project. And the project is apparently to take the giant laundry basket full of unmatched socks and match the socks.
Yeah, she said this like a long-term project. Like, how long has these socks been sitting here unmatched?
I was very confused. Who has it? First of all, if you put all of my socks, it does not fill up a laundry basket.
No.
Second of all, are those the ones you're wearing? They've just been sitting in the basement unmatched and you've just been going through another set of socks and you have all these socks. Why do you have so many socks? And how long have they been unmatched? I'm very confused. And why didn't you match them when you did the laundry? I was so confused about this whole project. But they're doing this project. And they're folding the socks and, she asked Joan about like, I went back in Uganda. How did you do laundry? She's like, yeah, we had to do it by hand. It took like 3 hours. It sucked. These things are much faster here. She also asked about the wedding and apparently Joan's family is waiting on appointments for their visa interviews so they can come visit and be there for the wedding. Because as much as Lucille is hospitable, Joan wants someone from her family to be there. Lucille gets that, but she also asks, is like, well, is there anything else we could do? Anything else you need to make you feel more comfortable here? And Joan says a few things. Oh, you're being very kind. It's very welcoming. But, it might be nice if you were not here sometimes and I could have some privacy, like a house to myself. So maybe you could not be so home as much. So again, we're stuck in this thing where Joan thinks that this house was just too comfortable for Greg, right? She wants more for them than to live in mom's house and then take mom's house when she dies, I guess, is probably the plan.
Gosh.
But anyway, back to the maybe you should leave sometimes. Lucille is offended. She thinks that's an inappropriate thing to ask. Even though she asked, what can I do to make
I know. And she said, you can ask me anything. I won't be offended. It's like,
yes.
Clearly
and then
not.
Immediately got offended. Yes. So she's going to talk to Greg about it. So Greg comes back for his interview, says it went all right, I guess. He's like, it was a lot of technical questions and the assessors had pretty good poker faces. So he tells Lucille first, who talks to him about what Joan said earlier. So Greg thinks that Joan didn't mean to be offensive. She's just a straightforward person, right? She says what she thinks. So he goes outside where Joan is and they go to check on the chickens and talk. So he tells her he thinks he got like, I don't know, maybe 75, 80%, right? Which seems pretty good to him. But to her, she's like, what? No. And
she's
under
an
90
A
is
student,
terrible. What are you doing?
Why.
Yes, she is definitely an A student and he was a C's get degrees type person.
Right,
for sure.
right.
So they get to the conversation that Joan and Lucille had. And Joan says she was just testing Lucille, testing her patience.
So confused by that.
Like, what can I say? I have a theory. We'll get to it.
Okay.
But in an interview, she talks about how right before she left Uganda, she got cold feet and she was like, I don't know if I want to leave here. And, he was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll be here. And now she has what she got cold feet about is feeling like there was nobody there to be on her side, nobody there for her in America. And now that Greg is like taking his mom's side with like, don't tell my mom she has to leave her house, that, you know, she's maybe regretting that a little bit. All right, so let's get to that. What do you think? Because I have a theory. What do you think she meant by like testing her patience? Like, why did she bring this up?
I don't know what she meant. I even put in my notes, I am so confused by Joan's test of patience. Like, why? And she said it so it seemed after the fact like, oh, that was a test of patience. But during it, it seemed like very genuine. It seemed like, oh, like, you want to know what's bothering me? I think we should have more privacy. I just don't think Joan was direct and kind of connected all the dots to say that that's the reason why. And so I think that's why mom was confused. Like, how dare you tell me to leave my own house? But really, I understand where Joan's coming from because she said it. She wants more privacy. She wants her out of the house. But I don't know why she tells Greg it was a test of patience.
So I think the test of patience was something more like a test of, oh, this woman just said, you can tell me anything. Oh, I won't be offended. Let me test that. Let me see if she'll be offended.
That makes sense.
I'm going to tell her what I really think. It's true. This is what I feel. I do feel like I would like you not in the house all the time. That would be cool. But but that's also something that's clearly and obviously not super offensive. It's not like she said, why don't you fuck off and die? Right? Like not that level offensive, but something that she's like, yeah, she's probably not going to want to hear this as what she can do. Right. But I'm going to put it out there anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly Lucille also gets a C on this assessment. Wow.
Right. Just her being like, okay, when she says you can be honest with me, how much does she actually mean that? And now she knows not 100%.
Right. Which doesn't surprise me. But even the way that Lucille like said it, it seemed like she was baiting her.
Yes,
like,
it did.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. You can
tell me anything. Oh yeah, you can tell me whatever you want.
I don't get mad. It's like,
yeah. So, yeah, there's that. I don't think Greg get this job, man. Like, I don't.
No.
There's got to be somebody pulling like, and also Greg is totally a person that we've both taught people like this that are like, I got like a 70, 80. Like, no, you got a 60. What are you talking about? You weren't close to 80. What? No. How did you think you got 80? I don't know.
Right. Well, yeah, that whole situation just seems like, it doesn't even seem like a real job, to be honest. Like we just said, like what state job is having you do all this general contracting? That just seems really like this isn't a real thing.
Yeah, I do want my government contractors to really specialize in one thing. I don't want the electrical guy also doing the plumbing, also doing the drywall. I feel like there's enough government jobs that we can have an electrician, a drywaller, and a plumber.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to maybe a more positive, actually, for once, storyline, and that's Mark and Mina. So Jade greets Mina, and Jade, remember, is Mark's ex-girlfriend, with a kiss and calls her gorgeous. Mina says that she wants to clarify the truth and get rid of some of her doubts. They make a little small talk when Jade asks Mina what she wanted to talk about. Mina tells her that Diana, the friend from last week, made her confused. Well, I think we're all confused by Diana's comments and behaviors, but whatever. Jade tells Mina that she broke up with Mark because he was moving to Boston and she didn't want to move. Mina asks if they were both in a relationship with Mark at the same time. Jade tells us that she believes Mark could think that she was the one who got away. Jade says that they tried to do the long distance thing and it just didn't work. She reassures Mina that she has no interest or feelings with Mark and she is happy in her new relationship. Jade does get a random check-in message from Mark every once in a while, but he hasn't tried to get back together with her since he's met Mina. Jade does tell Mina that Mark was texting some other woman when Jade was with Mark and trying to invite this other woman to Martha's Vineyard. Mina is shocked that Mark was pursuing other women in his relationship with Jade and feels like what's to stop him from doing that to her because she says she's nothing special, which I was actually kind of surprised to hear her say that because she does seem more full of herself. But anyways, Mina says that she's nervous about her wedding. Jade says that Mina should be careful of Mark's mom because Mark's mom has a lot of influence in the family. Mina tells Jade about the prenup, and Jade doesn't think that she should have to sign. She's also worried for Mina because it doesn't sound like she's getting along with the family, and once they decide that they don't like her, that's going to be really hard to change.
Mm-hmm.
Jade asks how much money Mark spent on her at Diana's shop, and Mina tells her $1,000. And Jade suggests, well, you really should have gone for $2,000 or $3,000. So, as a result of this whole conversation, it's not to anyone's surprise that Mina likes Jade and says that she is the nicest person she's met in the U.S. She says it would be funny if Jade came to the wedding. Jade is open to attending, and it seems that they will be friends in the future regardless. Back at home, Maria is playing on the floor as Mina gets home. Mark asks how the meeting went. Mina tells Mark that, Jade is pretty, and, also, Jade doesn't want anything to do with Mark, and she's happy in her new relationship. Mark thinks that Mina overreacted to, his past, and Mina says that Jade told her the family didn't give her space. Mina thinks that Mark should be clear with his family and set boundaries. And Mark, he really just cares that Mina seems to trust him now. All right, so why do you think Mark lied to Mina about who broke up with who? I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter because Mina doesn't care, but, Jade seemed to be a bit offended. Like, why did he tell her that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably... in reality, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a outright lie by one of them, both of them, or if it's like a Rashomon situation, right? Where in my head, the way that went down, I totally heard friends of mine that broke up, and both of them in their head were like, no, we had that conversation, and in that conversation, I broke up with you. And they're like, no, you didn't. We had that conversation, and that conversation, I broke up with you. And it's like, yeah, because you were breaking up with each other at the same time. And so you both think the other one's responsible. So it could have been that.
I could see that, especially since it's a long distance thing. It wasn't anything specific to a person.
Right. It wasn't like, at this instant I broke up with you. And it was him like, well, if you're going to move to Boston, we can't be together. And he's like, well, I moved to Boston. So that means I broke up with her.
Right. Sure.
And so it could be like that. Or it very well could be like Jade had said that, he with his next ex, he wanted to say, if I broke up with my ex, I was the one who was to get at the breakup. It is more confident building that he doesn't want to get back together with her. Yeah. Right. It's like, oh, well, because it is. We've all known people like that, too, who they got dumped and they're just kind of moving along, waiting until the person who dumped them is like, actually, let's try again. They're like, yes, I want to try again. Right.
Yeah.
It happens both ways. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a huge deal, but I don't know if it's as a clear-cut lie as Jade had implied.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually a little surprised that they got on as well as they did, but after seeing that Jade basically brown-nosed the shit out of Mina. So it doesn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me after seeing the segment. But leading up to it, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. Right?
Yeah. It's a little surprising because I feel like part of Mina's problem is that it seems like everyone she's met here is trying to manipulate her for something.
Yeah, or just not be nice to her. I think Jade has been overly nice to her, and it kind of seemed a little fake to me. But honestly, Mina doesn't care because she's like, great, someone's being nice to me for once.
Manipulate me with kindness at least. Everybody else has been manipulating her with behind the back things. And I'm still very confused now about what Diana was doing. Because we were we thought Diana was out there to crusade for her scorned friend. And Jade's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. What is making up this? I don't know if she's making it up, but really stoking this fire that was not even there.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
No sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting that you said that about Mina in that I thought she was she's like, I'm nothing or whatever. But it definitely, I think it helped out a lot that so many people were like, Oh, you were just like Jade. He kept saying you were just like Jade. Oh, we thought you were just like Jade. And then Jade shows up and she goes, this girl's very attractive. I will take this as a compliment.
I take that as a compliment.
Oh, this is the woman I replaced? Oh, okay. This is the woman I reminded everybody of? I can take that. Yes, this is good.
It did make me like Mina a little bit more because, just the fact that she warmed up to Jade, because it made me really feel like that, people haven't been, or made me think that people haven't been especially nice to her. And that's why she's like kind of got grumpy face, like not exactly the easiest person to get along with. But after seeing her with Jade, it's like you just need to treat her with a little bit of kindness, and she seems like she could, reciprocate that.
Right, and I think what is going on there is that this is the first time we heard her like really express insecurity. Mm-hmm. And it seems like there might be a lot more insecurity than she puts on. She just puts on a very tough exterior, right? A very hard exterior that is like her protecting herself, but it comes across to everybody else as her being conceited, right? Mm-hmm. Her thinking she's better than everybody. Oh, she won't even talk to us. It's like, cause she doesn't want to open her mouth because you're going to like tell her to sign the prenup. Like that's where this is going. Like, so, all right, let's talk about the throuple. Because these people are, they get worse every week. I hate all of these people.
How is it possible? But then here we are.
Every week. So things are starting off okay because they're taking selfies at their room and because they're leaving Ensenada and they're going to hit the road now. So the trip to Guadalajara is just around the corner. They keep telling us that, but we're not going there yet. We're going back to Tijuana, where Ani is excited to get back to see her daughter again. So the daughter's name is Antonella, and Matt and Amani have met her, but not any of Ani's sons because they don't live with her. It seems like one of those situations where they live with other relatives. She just lives with one kid. So there's an Airbnb that Amani got, and she's like, oh, well, I'll go hang out there, but Ani has to work tonight, so she can't mess with that. She needs the money. So Amani is a jealous person, and she says she's not a fan of Ani's line of work, even though they did meet there because we know she's a stripper. Like, that's where she's going to work.
Right.
And they met her at the strip club while she was working at the strip club.
Yeah.
So they talk about, like, the presents they have for Ani, and they said, oh, wasn't she excited to get presents? And she was like, girl, this girl gets so many presents from all these regular clients and all these guys who are trying to hook up with me. It is like not a big deal. And they didn't like that at all. Like, they're just like, why are you introducing these guys? And she's like, no, they just like, no, I have a daughter, so they give me free shit. And they're like, oh, well, I don't know. This, is she getting gifts from men? Matt is even offended. Like, how dare she? She can't be doing that if she's with us. So Amani asks what Antonella knows about this relationship. And Ani is like, I don't know. She's like, how old is she? 4, 5? She's like, she's a baby. She doesn't understand relationships at all, let alone this relationship, whatever. She just knows you guys are around. But that's not good enough. They're like, well, she's the same age as our daughter Lila, and Lila knows that you're our, and this is the way they put it, our special friend who is becoming our family. So Ani points out that, oh, okay, that's not, you didn't say girlfriend. You didn't say we're in a throuple. Like, you didn't explain the relationship to her. That's the same thing I did with my kid. So now they're upset again. So Amani is upset. Are you hiding us? Do you not want people to know about our relationship? Do you even want to be with us? And like, Ani is just like literally sipping a juice box, being like, I don't want to have this conversation. I'm not talking, whatever. This is dumb. So, Matt joins in and thinks she's not taking things as seriously as they are. So they get back to Ani's place, and it's not far away because she still hasn't finished her juice box that she's drinking as they pull in. So they think they're doing more than Ani is, and Matt is wondering, like, I don't even know. What role in the life of this child will I play?
Oh, God. None.
So they come inside, and it's hugs and presents for Antonella, and Amani says she sees her in mom mode, and she can see the three of them together, and now it's a much clearer picture of how this co-parenting or tri-parenting is going to work. Well, I don't know. Ani doesn't think it's going to work because she's like, no, I actually have rules for my kids. I don't know what they're going to do because, yeah. So it feels like she's like, it feels like everyday life. And and Amani's like, I can see how this is going to work. So then Antonella leaves, the adults say goodbye, and they just kind of dip out and go to their Airbnb. And like, again, to the Airbnb, Amani's feeling some kind of way because all she can think about is Ani doing her job of grinding on guys for work. And she wants her to stop doing that once they move to the States. So Matt starts rubbing her feet at the Airbnb, and he's like, well, you know, Ani checks a lot of boxes, but I don't know, she's really guarded. There's a lot of secrets she keeps. The one secret that has been kept is that Amani is, that one time that Ani said she's in the relationship for her and not so much for Matt. She could take or leave Matt, basically. So Amani really milks telling him this. Oh my God, she's going to tell him, and she has to tell him, and you can just tell she enjoys this so much. Like, she does, and his reaction is silence at first. And he's confused because he was like, did she just say that to shut you up? Which it, by the way, did. Or like, but mostly he's hurt that Amani kept this from him, which was like, for how long? 36 hours? Like, how long ago did this happen? This didn't happen very long ago. Yeah. But he clearly thinks it's like, oh, it's something you should have told me immediately. He isn't really interested in pursuing a relationship with someone who really isn't into him. But Amani says that he puts her in her, of all the people that are in this situation, now she's in the most difficult position I've ever been in my entire life. So Matt says he needs some time to sleep on it, but she's like, oh, everyone just keeps asking for time. And he's like, you told me 3 seconds ago. So he's going to need some time for himself. And he doesn't even respond to her, I love you, as she leaves the room. So this is always like the guess. Which of the things is Amani being the most unreasonable reacting towards? Because she's always the worst.
I think out of all those things, okay, making a bigger deal out of the whole she loves me more. I thought that was ridiculous. I also thought it was ridiculous that she was like, I'm jealous. She can't do her job. It's just like,
yes.
I don't know.
And the thing is like, that is a very classic dude bro like behavior. Like, oh, I dated a stripper. Then once you started dating, you can't be a stripper anymore. And it's like, dude, you met her at the strip. You're not above that. You're not better than that. You met her at the strip club. Like, duh.
Yeah. So I don't know. Take your pick. She's ridiculous all around.
I don't know what she wants. She just wants conflict is all I can figure out. Like, no matter what people would have done, would have said, she'd find conflict in it and she'd bring it and make it the most. She's so dramatic. This is the most difficult situation I've ever been in my life. Didn't she like flee from her country? Wasn't she a refugee? Like, I feel like there was other situations that were worse.
She's clearly gone through worse. Yeah, I don't really know. And then I really cannot stand the way that Matt talks. It's like he's talking to a child who doesn't speak English. It's like all the things.
Well, yes, his generic stoner voice that he has all the time anyway is bad enough. Yeah. But yeah, when he's talking to Ani, he talks to her like she's a small child. Yes.
Yeah. And they drive me absolutely nuts. I cannot stand them. Okay. People who have maybe had a bit more redemption than them. Who knows? Maybe we could end up liking this throuple at some point, although I do not see that happening.
No, they're not going to stay. There's no way Ani is staying in this. Right. Absolutely not.
But a couple that has had a bit of a redemption this season, that's Sarper and Shekinah. So they're heading to Montana to visit family. Sarper is nervous, but Shekinah says his newfound mustache and his purple hair will get him through it. Shekinah warns him that Montana is very different than California. Sarper notes all the mounted heads at the airport and asks if they are real size. Sarper has never seen a goose or a moose before. Shekinah is hoping the meeting with her family goes a lot smoother than the boat ride with Sophie from last week. Shekinah says that her family was Amish and they moved to Montana when she was 16, where they lived conservatively with very little electricity, but she survived it. At the hotel, Shekinah gifts Sarper with a cowboy hat, and he's looking like a cowboy hat with his denim, cowboy with his denim jacket and his flannel shirt unbuttoned down to his belly button, of course. Shekinah is excited for Sarper to ride the therapy horses and to heal the anxiety and stress before they meet with her sisters. Sarper says that he has a lot to prove to her sisters. He's feeling a bit overwhelmed and hopes the horses will help with his anxiety. He tells us that he has big balls and he hopes that they don't get hurt riding these horses. Sarper picks out the brown horse because he likes her, quote, miserable look, which I thought was a very interesting thing to be attracted to for a horse. Shekinah picks the big black horse because it's big and muscular. Sarper makes a joke about Shekinah riding him because they always have to make inappropriate jokes. Sarper is a natural at riding a horse. They do a few laps and Sarper is proud of himself for being gentle and patient, and he says he will approach her sisters the same way. But Shekinah points out that horses don't speak like her sisters do. Shekinah tries to prepare Sarper for what her sisters will target him in. She blames him and says that he needs to be accountable for how he treated her, other sister Shariah, and how he's treated Shekinah in the past. Sarper is feeling nervous, and Shekinah keeps calling it a big day to meet her sisters. Sarper says his redemption tour continues. 3 of her sisters have agreed to meet with them. They are all done up and dressed in their best leather. Shariah is also there and hoping that things are different this time around and that there is genuine growth and change in Sarper. He meets her other sisters, Zanaya and Mariah. Sarper says that he's getting used to everything in the U.S. and he especially loves sweet potato fries. Me too, Sarper. They're great. Sarper tells them about his meeting with Sophie. Her sisters ask how she can trust Sarper, and they aren't really seem to be satisfied with Shekinah's seemingly blind trust. Sarper says that he will do everything he can to make her happy. Sarper says that Shekinah has geisha vibes, which means she is subservient, which all the sisters seem to, by the looks on their face, not be into that comment. Shariah says that he can't seem to help himself but to put his foot in it. Sarper can start to feel that he's not winning anyone over, but he also can't help it. We were just having this conversation earlier, like about our personal lives having nothing to do with this show, about like seemingly putting your foot in your mouth and, you know, saying one thing that is clearly interpreted by everyone a different negative way. Do you think that that's what's really happening here, or do you think it's really Sarper kind of uncovering the truth that he's controlling?
I mean, so this is definitely one of the, in wrestling they call it a face turn, right? He's getting the redemption arc, right? He's getting the, oh, this guy is fun. When he was a complete asshole in the in the previous times we saw him, and so I think yes, but I don't know. I might buy that he's done a little bit of growing and was like, oh, that didn't work. That went over really well. I saw myself on TV acting like that, and I came across really bad. That was not good, right? I think that's something most people who kind of do that sort of thing don't get to see themselves on TV and be like, oh, that sounded terrible. Like, what? Right? You don't get that perspective. I mean, I get the foot putting in mouth thing. We were talking about that. And it usually doesn't, I usually don't get it right away because I talk a lot. You've been around me. I talk a lot. And like, it will be like later the next, like 2 or 3 days later, I'll be like, oh, wait, did I say that? Amongst the many other things that I said, that might not have been good.
Right.
Whereas this kind of like, this is different. He says something dumb and the whole conversation immediately shuts down and everybody makes faces. And it's like, oh, I guess we're going to dwell on that. But I don't know. I just think he put it poorly.
Yeah, I kind of agree that he certainly put it poorly. I really actually, I'm with you in that I think that he has had genuine growth, and I don't think it's just him, because how many times have we had like, oh, you know, I'll change, and then they don't really change. What I think really attributed to a lot of his change is after the potential domestic violence situation where he grabbed at her extension and she was like, oh, hell fucking no, you are not going to treat me this way. I am not about to be abused by anyone. You have to go to therapy. And then he realized that he could lose her. And I think like he went to therapy for I don't know how long. You know, so I like to think that, you know, he was taking real steps to get help outside of himself instead of him just saying, oh, okay, well, I know that's bad, so I'm just never going to do that again, right?
We're going to work really hard. And you're like, how? Work what? Like, doing it. And you're like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like that coupled with the threat of her actually leaving, and having the therapy and him seeing himself on TV, I genuinely think that he wants to change. And I think it's fair to have a slip up every now and then. I think this was like an innocent mistake. I mean, we were talking about the foot in the mouth in like a job interview, right? It's like where you're on your best behavior. Sarper is on his best behavior. He does not have any awareness that this sounded as bad as it did to other people. And that's the reason why he said it. Because if he had any kind of inkling like, oh, this is going to get a negative reaction, he would not be saying that. I think that he might have this impression that, oh, geishas are pretty and they're sweet and they're, like easygoing. He might think of it as easygoing, not like, oh, they're a slave. And basically like a sex slave, right? Like, but if he really thought about it a little bit, maybe he would like realize that, oh, that really is not good. That's not what siblings want to hear about their sibling.
No, I mean, I commend him because I just could not. I had trouble following the conversation because I just kept getting distracted by the way all of those people looked.
Oh my God.
Why is there not a normal fucking looking person anywhere in this person in Shekinah's orbit?
I don't know. It was so bizarre to me too, because it's like, wow, they really went hard the other way. Like, you would never in a million years, if you had a lineup of people, be like, which of these were formerly Amish? I would pick none of them.
Yes, they've all had tons of work done, your fillers and your Botox and things like that. All of them.
Piercings, tattoos.
Tattoos. Yeah. It's like, and you're going around like this one. Why are we dressed like a goth chick? Why can I see the lower side of your boobs? Are you in a biker gang? Is this guy in a 70s porn movie? What is going on? Well, who are these people and why are they here? And like, it just, it wasn't even like, it didn't seem like, oh, this is like, I don't know, because some people can dress like that and it just feels like it feels like an extension of them. And you're like, yes, that is their personality. That is them. And some people feel like they're putting on costumes. And it just felt like all of those people were costumed up for Montana time for like the worst episode of Yellowstone ever. And like,
that is the wrong show for them, right? Because they were all in their best, leathers. I don't even know. Like,
it was very much
fashion
like
leathers. Those are not practical leathers,
no,
like
they were
the
not.
kinds that cowboys
it was like,
wear.
I want to look. And then there was like, I think it was trying to go more bikery, but they're also not the leathers that bikers wear either. It's like you're in a cutoff t-shirt. I could not get over porn stash over here. I kept staring at him. Why is he here? What is he doing? Why does he look like that?
Boyfriend Jay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just like, oh, it's my chance to be on TV. I'm going to put on my best outfit with my fringed leather jacket and my yellow aviators. It's like, oh God, what's going on here? And so I lost most of the plot when I was just like, what is going on? Who are these people? Why does everyone? And like her friends in LA looked weird too. Like everybody looks just
to me,
plastic.
that's like normal-ish.
That's normal LA-ish.
Yeah, but they're in the middle of Montana. Like, I don't know. Is that the look you do when you think you're trying to look like you're from Montana? I don't know. I could not figure out what look they were going for at all. Yeah, I have no idea.
And it was very, very odd. But to be fair, it was like, and I thought it was funny earlier because Sarper was costumed up too. He had flannels and jeans and the cowboy hat that she brought. He was costumed up, but at least his was more plausibly Montana. And I was like, it's so weird. This guy has like every weird situation. He goes to a cowboy situation, right? He goes to the beach. He has the things. He goes over here and the thing is, I realized it's all of his stripper clothes. Like, he's been a cowboy stripper. He's been a Baywatch lifeguard stripper. Like it's like, the man dresses in costumes. Sure. All right. And so let's speak of someone who definitely is a lot more self-conscious about the way he presents himself. Let's talk about Steve and Maddie.
Gosh.
So they seem to be recording we start with them recording some sort of green screen message for their language-based YouTube channel, which gives us a little more insight about what she meant when she was like, I taught Maddie in English. She didn't really teach him. I think he came to a class and she was like, your English is great. Let's have a podcast or a video series where I explain English things to you. And he's like, and it was like idioms and things like that, right? The things that you are hardest to pick up on when you learn a language. So anyway, it was making these videos that really is when they got into an in-depth relationship. So Maddie wants the day to be the day where he reproposes in a way that she would like. He was like, apparently I didn't do it right. It wasn't a big deal to me. So he tells her he's got a surprise and tells her to pack her bags and just, follow what I say. She still has to drive to where they're going, but he's just like, pack your bag. She's like, do I need warm clothes? He's like, I'm not telling you. Just put clothes in a bag box. She's like, this is making me very nervous. I don't know what's going on. So as they leave, he jokes about like, once they get in the car, he's like, all right, so we have 3 days to drive to California. She's like, haha, well, if you do that, I'll leave you there. And he's like, well, if you leave me there, I'll go back to Iran, which then killed the mood because she's like, oh, it was all jokey. And then as soon as he said that, she was like, well, that's not funny. I don't think you should have been telling those kind of jokes. I think you might want to go back. I'm pissed about what I heard. She's just super insecure about it. So before long, they're at Ocean Springs, Mississippi, which is what she described as, the place I was describing to you that I wanted to come to. And that's where they're staying. So she feels bad about being a bitch now because this is some pretty good partner stuff. So she's impressed by the room that they have and they sit in the bed and like plan the rest of their day. So he suggests they get changed to go see the town. So he's gotten the hint. I think she's like sending him like, I don't know if it's Pinterest things in the chart and be like, she sends me a lot of things where the guy gets down on like one knee. So I guess that's a thing that you're supposed to do. I don't know why. It feels very IW Sir Maddie. I don't know why we're doing this, but if that's what it is, okay. So anyway, they leave the room and they start heading somewhere. And she's like, I feel like we're lost. And he's like, I am not from here or this country, but trust me, I will find us where to go. And they're still like walking around, not like the shoppy part of town, like a clear like residential neighborhood. So she's like, I don't know what's going on here. So they eventually do get to a little beach area where there are like people doing beach yoga. They take off their shoes and walk in the sand. So he starts his proposal. He tells her he loves her and he's 100% sure about his decision to move here. Then he kind of points her at his little setup he had made out of like crates and letters. It says, marry me. It was very cute. So he gets on his knee to ask her and she says yes. And he is, oh my God, you did this for me. The yoga class cheers him on. Very cute. She says she would have been happy with, anything and any proposal, any ring, but he went overboard with it and she loved it. So he tells us though that honestly, the whole time he was doing it, like as he was going to his knee, he was like, it was like 1,000 voices yelling at me, cringe. This is cringe. This is so cringy. Why are you doing this? But he did it. He endured the cringe for her and things worked out right. So can we finally, do you think, move past the storyline that he's not 100% ready for this now?
I know, right? I love this guy so much.
He is he's my favorite this season.
He is my favorite. The fact that, he cares what his partner wants, even if it is in some conflict of what he wants, right? It makes him uncomfortable. It's not what he wants to do. And most people, I think, are kind of selfish enough where it's like, well, I don't really want to do that. So unless you're making me do that for some reason. Do I have to do it? Do I have to? Right. And he doesn't, I don't want to say he doesn't care, but he puts that aside, those thoughts and feelings aside, because he knows that that's what she wants and it'll make her happy. So like, I appreciate we have someone on this show who cares enough about their partner to put their, desires and needs, I guess wants more so than needs, first. Sure.
Yeah. We do kind of see, even if the cringe of a going down on one knee or whatever, but So how many people are like, I brought you to my favorite place so that I can propose to you, instead of being like, even what this was, but she was like, oh, this is the place I've been telling you about. Like the cute little shops and stuff. And he was like,
the thought of that brings up reminds me of Colt and Larissa, how he's like, oh, a romantic place would be like at the top of the stratosphere because, you know, you get a nice view of, and she's like deathly afraid of heights. And it's like, this is not the place. Right? You're not considering your partner's needs in this. You're like, this is romantic. And it's like, not to her, it isn't. She's deathly scared.
No, but that's it. It's actually imagining a partnership that you're with. It's not like, because we talk about other old people, like Darcy with her vision board of her perfect wedding with
insert man here.
Insert man here. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Out of the group we saw, and we did not see Sean and Aaliyah. And I think that's it, right? Yeah. Who is your student of the week?
I'll say Mahdi. We just talked about him, and he did a great job. Did something that made him uncomfortable, didn't want to do, and it's again trying to solve the problem that's in front of him. Right? She's not convinced him 100%. What can I do for that? Like, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. What about your dunce?
I mean, it's too hard to go. Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to go Amani every week, but she was really bad this week. She was significantly worse than everybody else. She is just because there wasn't main casts that were really, really off the charts.
Yeah, I wanted to give it to Greg's mom because it's like, come on, you're putting Joan to work for no reason, and then you're tricking her.
I am still massively confused by the giant thing of socks. Why do you have that?
Yeah. So, I really wanted to go Greg's mom on that one, but yeah, I actually went Matt. Like, how are you that offended that someone loves her more, and then why do you care that it's taken this long for? In fact, Amani should just never have said anything, to be honest.
It was literally wasn't it literally the first time they had a moment together with each other? Well, I think no, because they went out and got like the breakfast the day after.
But it's like, is it to shove it in your face or something? Like, I didn't really understand the motivation behind sharing that.
Well, we can't keep any secrets. So I have to strategically unleash them when it causes the most amount of drama.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, you sold me, Amani. I originally went Matt, but yeah, now that you said that, I'm like, Amani. There was unnecessary. All right. What about your life lesson?
My life lesson is, listen, I'm going with the socks. You fold all the socks when you do the load. If you go through 2 loads, if you empty your hamper, all the loads, and you haven't matched a sock, that sock is trash. Get rid of it. Let's go.
I wouldn't say it's trash. I would hold on to it for a little bit.
I hold on to it for once, but once I've gone through, how socks disappear. I don't know why socks disappear in the laundry, but they definitely do.
Mine disappear in random things, like a sheet. It gets stuck in like the crack of the washer, and so then it ends up in the next load of laundry.
So yes, if I do the next load of laundry next week, and I still haven't found that match for that sock, it's gone.
You know what my dad used to do is he used to safety pin his socks together. So as soon as they were dirty, he would safety pin them together, and they would get washed that way and dried. And then when he was ready to use them, he would unpin them. So I don't know, it's a thought. Okay, so my life lesson really has to do with, it was inspired by Stevi. Okay, she knew that Maddie had a surprise for her. So when someone has a surprise for you, be more cooperative. I don't know why she immediately went into this negative. Why are we doing that?
Yes.
Right. She went to this negative place, making it so much more difficult. You're making it harder for the other person to surprise you. So just be more cooperative if you know it's supposed to be a positive surprise for you. And she's like all grumpy puss, like he's going to surprise her with like a pile of shit or something. It's like, give him the benefit of the doubt or something.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would like to know if I should pack shorts or pants. That would be helpful.
Okay. But she was like so grumpy about everything. It's just like,
don't want to pack. Yeah. And then got weirdly grumpy about his joke. Ugh.
Yeah, she even said, like once she found out it was something good, she's like, I probably shouldn't have given him such a hard time. It's like, yeah, you think?
Right. Sure.
All right. So we'll be back again with this group next week.
Yep.
Okay.
See everybody
Till
then.
then.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm good.